Next, I would like to introduce Jannie Staffansson, who will speak on behalf of the Indigenous Peoples Caucus.
Thank you. My friends, this is a face of an angry Sami person. The indigenous peoples that are not represented under the negotiations, we are being silenced by those states who speak up for us. Those states who put forward language on our rights, human rights, indigenous people's rights, multiple times going to the Secretariat of France, complaining by those changes not being edited within the draft negotiations agreement, and then being silenced again. We are very critical to the actions of France, how they continuously silence the persons who are not even here. We are the persons who are dying. My friends, my family, they are the ones who go through water. They are the ones who are killed in avalanches. And they don't even care. How can the purpose of this negotiation not be people? How can our voices be silenced multiple times? And then again. I'm sorry, my friends, but we need civil society to rise up. We have done what we can under these negotiations, and we now call for civil society to rise. Push your ministers. We need human rights, indigenous people's rights within that agreement in order to stop violations, killings, murders, land grabbing, and to save the planet for our future. Thank you.
Thank you, Jannie, for that very heartfelt intervention. And I really wanted to say that I think that that's why we are here today. I think we all stand in solidarity with you and as an inter-constituency group, and we all are supporting this call for human rights to be integrated in the text, because we do need a people-centered approach. I'd like to introduce our last speaker, Kumi Naidoo, who is the Executive Director of Greenpeace International. He's not here on behalf of the constituency per se, but I think he speaks on behalf of social and climate justice around the world.
Thank you. If we do not get indigenous rights, human rights, gender equality, just transition to take care of workers' rights into the substantive part of the text in Article 2, if we do not get a clear long-term vision of decarbonizing our planet by 2050, if we do not ensure that we keep warming at 1.5 or below, this planet is headed for disaster. Consequence would be, assuming we were the last people left in this planet as a result of global warming, and the youngest amongst us said, let's write up the history of humanity so that if life were to ever emerge again, we will not make the same mistakes we made. One of the things we will probably agree very easily, that those parts of the world that deem themselves civilized and went and sought to civilize other parts of the world through colonialism, conquest, and genocide, we would conclude, probably without any difficulty, that the most intelligent, the most knowledgeable, the most civilized, if you want, peoples of the world were in fact indigenous peoples. And that is why we stand in solidarity with all of these areas of rights. Right now, every week, according to Global Witness, a think tank in London, 2 environmental activists are killed every week. And a disproportionate number of them are in fact indigenous peoples in the Amazon, in Asia, in Africa, and elsewhere. One of the wisdoms from indigenous peoples is from North America and from the Cree people, where they said, there will come where an elder woman, Eyes of Fire, said, there will come a time when our trees will disappear, our rivers and seas will be, the waters will be black, the fish will be dead. When that time comes, the people, irrespective of race, color, creed, or religion, will come together to try to heal the world, and they will be known as the warriors of the rainbow. And I should just say, that is why Greenpeace ship is called the Rainbow Warrior. And I should just say that this year, in July, was the 30th anniversary of the sinking of the Rainbow Warrior through a terrorist act by French intelligence. And it's probably worth reminding our host country of this at this point. So in conclusion, I would say that there are very many governments that come here to global conferences, talk nicely about human rights, when in fact back home they are violating human rights left, right and center. And that hypocrisy must be exposed. But the attack on civil society, on indigenous peoples, on the most vulnerable peoples right now, I want to end to say there is something positive about it. You might think it's strange I should say that. Because Mahatma Gandhi once said, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, and then you win. If Gandhi was right, let's be clear, they're not ignoring us, they're not laughing us, they're fighting us, and let's hope that means we are one step away from winning. We, irrespective of what is decided here in the next 48 hours, those with power need to understand that they have ignited a dynamic movement that they cannot stop. Thank you.
Thank you, Kumi. Thank you to all the panelists.